Located on southern Costa Rica's Osa Peninsula is a private nature reserve spread over 1,000 acres of Central America's last remaining lowland tropical rainforest. Lapa Rios Ecolodge overlooks the pristine point where the Gulfo Dulce meets the wild Pacific Ocean, making it the destination that matches everyone's idea of paradise. Lapa Rios was opened in 1993 by John and Karen Lewis. Former Peace Corps volunteers, John and Karen came to Costa Rica after deciding their life in the States needed a little adventure.
We're talking 1990, and I had just quit the practice of law, came to Costa Rica to start a new career, have an adventure. And looked at the country, looked at the people, looked at the government, looked at the dedication to national parks and wild areas, and said, wow, this is a great place to be. What could we do here? And our original idea was a bed and breakfast. We were thinking 25 acres and maybe shacks and hammocks, Leica binoculars, and that kind of thing. And then we started to talk to people and started to look at land, and the dreams got a little bigger and the pieces got a little larger, and we ended up eventually buying 1,000 acres. And then we said, wow, 1,000 acres, prime rainforest. That's big enough to maybe be a private nature reserve. And that's how it started. From there, we talked to a lot of people again, did a lot of planning, got an architect, and this area was really abandoned by my architect. He said it's not a building site. And I said, I know that. And he said, well, so what are we going to do? And I said, let's do something incredible. And he got a big smile on his face, and I knew he was in. And so we started to figure out where the pool was going to be and where the buildings were going to be and how they were going to be built and how we were going to take advantage of the angle of the sun and the breezes for just energy conservation. And then along came World Wildlife Fund and the great debate about ecotourism, and that's what it was. It was a debate, and everybody was talking about it, but nobody was doing it. And I told Karen, I said, let's do it. Nobody's doing it. I mean, there's this endless conversation that's going on about what is ecotourism, what's the definition of it, how does it work, what's it for? And we had all this literature and all these ideas and lots of people who were interested. And so we said, okay, we're going to declare this to be a private nature reserve and we're going to use this to bring people here to experience nature and to learn how important it is that we preserve this incredibly pristine land and forest with the animals, and what people can do. So we decided that we would become a model. And the model was, how do you do ecotourism? And there weren't any rules. We made every mistake in the world. And just little by little, the corrections were made. Our guests were wonderful. They were understanding, and they helped us. And everybody had ideas. And they liked what we were doing, and so they would contribute.
Eventually, the Lewises created a lodge that has become one of the most popular nature destinations in Costa Rica, if not the world. And when I asked him if he had any advice for others, he said something that has stuck with me till this day. Set an example.
How I would like to see the OSA develop and how the OSA will develop are two entirely different things. That's why we're a model. We don't think that we're making a stronger voice in any way other than showing people what can be done, and what the impact is, what the problems are, and what the urgency is. They have to do it. So I'm back to raising awareness and education. You can't tell your neighbors what to do with their land, and people will do what is within the legal framework, the legal limits. And as time goes on, it's not a question of if, but when. Concern for the planet is going to become the most important issue in the world. And at that point, everybody's going to be working for the same goal. But until that happens, my ideals about how I would like to see the Osa Peninsula develop are, what do you say, clouds in the coffee. Except that every guest who leaves here, and every employee who leaves here, every person who has any contact, who has the level of interest to just listen and see what's happening, goes away with a different perspective. And that's the change that we're making.
It really is amazing to think how much a lodge like Lapa Rios can do to make a difference in terms of increasing people's appreciation for the rainforest. One thing Lapa Rios offers is a sustainability tour, showing guests what the lodge does to limit its demand on resources.
So basically what we're going to do on this tour is we're going to be looking at what we're doing here at Lapa Rios to be quote-unquote sustainable. So what does that mean? It's basically looking at how we're impacting the environment, how we can maybe lower that impact on the environment, but then also kind of looking at some of our socioeconomic effects. So looking at how we affect some of the surrounding communities, how we can maybe work towards community development as opposed to degrading some of the communities, which is very common in the tourism industry. So one of the main things that Lapa Rios does is that we work extensively with the Certification for Sustainable Tourism, which is basically a certification system that's endorsed by the Costa Rican Ministry of Tourism. What they're doing is they're looking at your level of sustainability, so a little bit about what I was talking before, kind of looking at how much you hire locally, how many people you hire locally, how much you buy locally, looking at your water, your waste, your energy, all of those different types of things, and then they award you leaves based on your level of sustainability. It's a pretty rigorous certification system. You're going to need a lot of documentation. So if we say that we use organic food, we have to prove it and have the certification. So in that sense, it's a really good way to not only check yourself, but check your suppliers as well, because you're demanding proof of what they do also. So basically what they do, they award you leaves kind of in the same way Mobil awards you stars based on your level of service. So if you're a 5-star hotel, you know that you're a very, very good hotel. So we've received 5 leaves, which is the most that you can receive from the CST, and we're really proud of that. It's something that we're constantly having to maintain and to better. But it's a really good tool. It's a good tool for us, and it's also a good tool for people that that want to be visiting and supporting sustainable operations.
Lapa Rios has reduced their propane use by 50%. They use a simple but effective system, which captures the methane produced by the pigs they use to dispose of food waste. Hot water is complements of the sun. The pool uses a salt-based system instead of chlorine. They grow their own suita for their thatch roofs. And the rooms are second to none. Looking out over the preserve to the ocean is a sight you will not easily forget. Because Lapa Rios is so proactive, they have been the recipient of some pretty prestigious awards.
Are you photogenic?
In 2005, it was awarded the U.S. State Department's Corporate Excellence Award for its exemplary business practices. The employees are also involved in environmental or community programs outside of work. In the past, they've been an effective lobby against illegal logging. And here, an employee has developed an effective recycling system, which will be distributed by the lodge to the community of Puerto Jimenez. Dealing with waste is a serious issue on the Osa Peninsula, so programs like these are steps being taken on behalf of solutions. As you watch this, please consider steps you can take at work and at home on behalf of solutions. Lapa Rios is a wonderful place. Their reputation is well deserved, and their success is evident. Please visit them on the web at www.laparios.com.